Hey guys, welcome to the Centre Bounce. Tonight I'll be giving you my team review for how I did in round 10. I gave you the sneak peek halfway through after we had that massive epic win against the Tigers, but this is how I did overall come the end of the week. And let me say, guys, it was a very positive one. We ended up scoring a 25-67, which was a top 3% score. Would you believe it? I can't recall a time where I scored 25-67 and it felt like unders. It's ridiculous. But there were some great scores from some of the content creators out there that did a really, really good job. But I gotta say, I'm really happy with this. We ended up climbing up the ranks again by another 3,222, three twos, if you don't mind. We're now in the top 7,000, which is a terrific comeback, having started the year so far in the 80,000 mark. That's ridiculous. So for us to have to come back to this point of the season, we're now top 4%, still trying to climb and make our way up. And it's a slow process, that's for sure. So let me just sort of zoom out a little bit just so we can see the full team here. And so this is how the scoring ended up taking place. It was off the back of, as you guys saw, Captain Zach Merritt was an absolute superstar for us this week. Now, Zeeble had his points eaten into by Hall. Stewart had a tough game. Dacos 100. I thought he would do a bit better, but I think that just goes to show just how much Carlton got dominated, really. It was a very terrible performance by them. Seamus Mitchell had to field him. I fielded him because I saw that Wilmot got an 83, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to Chincotta, I want to loop because I reckon Chincotta was guaranteed he wasn't going to play, and I saw Wilmot score an 83, so I thought, you know what? Let's take that Wilmot 83. Let's field the extra rookie here, and then roll the dice because I think he was going to do better than I didn't think Baker was going to score more. So that's why I ended up setting up my team like this on the weekend. Bont 112, doing Bont things, was gifted a goal. Clayton Oliver, he's the one that is on everybody's mind this week. What do we do with him, and with so little trades as well? It's a conundrum. Laird 145 gun, Tom Green gun, Zeret gun, Rosie gun, Will Day. I feared this guy was going to be a fraud pick. Ashcroft 124. I told you guys don't trade him out. Don't trade him out. And that's what happened. He's backed it up. All the people who traded him out before Essendon, Big J included. Well, gee, that was a very bad decision. He ended up missing out on his 97 and his 124. He's made 28K off these 2 weeks, and his break-even's still only 9. So onwards and upwards for the young lion, Will Ashcroft. Really happy I held on to him. Baker again, yeah. Simpson, yikes. Subbed out. Johnson, yikes. The sub. Marshall 126 did well for us on that last day in that last game. Did really well for his boys to go up by 12 points. Dunks 153, Tarrant 110, Golden, yeah. So Cogs 108. Cogs looks like it's going to be really good. Now Kelly's going to be out for 4 weeks, so Cornelia, you'd hope, would be able to really lift and give us a bit more than what he's currently given us. Chandler's 86 was there. And that was really the rest of the team, as you can see it. The worst performers on field for us this week were actually Gorn and Day, 2 premiums. And we're about to do a video, Big J and I, about the DPP, and I'm sweating on this guy because, spoiler alert, he's right on 35%. I want him out of here. I want him to please get the DPP so I can get English in there and he can swing here into the forward line. I don't want to have to be fielding Gorn versus English every single week. It's going to be really nerve-wracking, especially if the conditions are no good. Port Adelaide went after him, and it was not a good game for him. So yeah, fingers crossed he can get the forward status. Now, obviously, as I mentioned as well in that mid-round review, that I've missed out on a couple of the really big cash cows that have emerged. Atkins was one, but he was a mid-pricer. But in terms of the rookies and missing out on these rookies is really burning a hole in my pocket right now. And that is Weddle and Bailey Humphrey. They're both flying up in price. And to be honest, I'm really not even sure exactly. I'm still not sure whether or not, because I can get these guys both in. His break even's negative 54. He's already up to 280, basically 286. He's paying over $100,000 for him. Does he still have another 100,000 in him to make? And how quickly can he do it? Well, let's have a look at Supercoach Gold. It's projected if he goes 64s, he will make another 68, 69.4K. If he scores 64s, he'll go up another 69.4K. But what happens if he thumbs up again? That's the thing. What happens if he thumbs up again? Then the ship well and truly would have sailed away. The thing is, though, he's got the Bulldogs this week. And the Bulldogs, if you know me by now, you'd know that I call them a black hole of Supercoach. They suck up all of the points, especially in the midfield. They have an ability like no one else to just somehow hog all of the points. It's ridiculous. And Supercoach is telling me that as well. Supercoach Gold is also telling you, look, they are the hardest team to score against. Mids and the second hardest to score if you're a forward. So, look, if he scores his projected 64, he'll go up 53K. Can they suck him up that bad that he can't score a 64? Look, that's the question. That is the question. There's nothing. I just think it will be really bad if I was to trade him in. He drops like a 50, and all of a sudden, I've really paid up. He's now mid. This is mid-pricer. This is mid-pricer territory now. It's no longer a rookie. So, look, I can get him in, and it probably would have been fairly easy for me to do so because I've got Samson Ryan here, and Sam Simpson. Jeez. He looked really bad and he was subbed out. I'm obviously going to wait for team sheets for complete clarification of what I'm going to do, but I really could just do Samson, Ryan, and Simpson out, swing a Constable here, and end up with both, and swing Madden back here, and end up with both Bailey Humphrey and Weddle. So that's something that is possibly on the cards, and probably would have been something that is fairly easy for me to do if not for the extra conundrum that is Clayton Oliver. Like, could this situation be any more confusing? Hammy, he's clapped his hamstring. He goes off the field. He's getting checked up at 3/4 time. He's not taken off. He instead continues to play where he gets another 5 disposals, another tackle in that last quarter. We're then told that he's going to get scans done for that hamstring and that he's going to be out in the immediate short term, guaranteed. But it's indefinite, though, in terms of how long he's going to be completely away for. And yet at training today, he's out running. And the report is that this is unlike your normal hamstring. What? None of this adds up. None of this adds up. And I sort of appreciate, maybe, sort of, kind of, Melbourne saying in the immediate short term, because 2 weeks essentially means 3 weeks because of his bye. So when you look at Clayton Oliver, he's got the round 14 bye. So now we're entering round 11. So is it round 11 that we're entering into? Sorry, guys, I'm sort of losing track of time the way things are going. So he's up against Fremantle, and Fremantle round 11. Yes, okay, correct. So we've got long day away. So round 11 If he misses these two, he'll have one game against Collingwood before the bye. If he misses three, it's essentially a 4-week injury as well because of the bye that comes into it. Now, it is weird because he's running. I don't know what sort of hamstring involves running immediately soon after, and what sort of hamstring injury would have him go back onto the field in the last quarter. It's all bizarre. But what is guaranteed, though, that you can certainly consider is if you trade this handsome gentleman out, will you be able to get him back in again? That's the question. Now, his break-even's 138. So it's possible that you can wait a week on him when he comes back. But by that stage, how much money will you have after his bye to trade him back in again? After you would have been working away on all of those other upgrades in your team, will you be able to afford this guy again? And chances are many teams will in fact be unable to do so. It's plain and simple. I think there will be a lot of teams who are going to trade him out, and are sort of with the understanding that we trade him out, I'm not going to trade him back in again. Now, I personally am really low on trades, as you can see. And I just don't know how severe of a hamstring it is if he's out there running in training first day back. So for me, because I have such low trades, and not a lot of money in the bank, look, it could just be a simple trade him out straight to a Sicily and bank in 100K. And that would be really cool. It really would be cool. But at the same time, I don't have a lot of money in the bank, and I worry that if I trade out the guy who could be M1, M2 for as long as he's playing. I mean, the man is averaging 124.7. You know, like, he is an absolute gun, and his worst performance for the year has been a 98. So this is consistency. This is him being an absolute superstar. And when he comes back, I don't see a reason why he can't continue this sort of output for the rest of the year. So I know there are a lot of content creators who are planning on trading him out. And look, it might be wise to trade him out. I know I've been talking to a bunch of people as well online. People have been messaging me and things like that. And that I'm planning on trading him out. But as I sit here now and I'm thinking about it, is it possible to hold on to him and instead just focus on getting my cash gen right? Because, or do I still trade him out? Because there are going to be players on the bubble next week who are really good. And who are we talking about? We're talking about guys like Wardlaw, talking about guys like Eddie Ford, maybe even a McAndrew, who Hickey went out injured, and Laddams got injured as well on the weekend that's just gone by. So if we end up in a situation where McAndrew is getting substantial ruck time, he could also be a terrific downgrade option. And those are 3 players who are going to be on the bubble at the same time, of which, of course, without a boost, I'll only be able to get 2 of them in. So in terms of cash gen, it's likely that we're going to have more options. And yes, I've missed out on some top Gs like Weddle. Weddle is not out of the picture. Weddle has not gone up that, in terms of the price that's really priced you out. It's still only at 230K, only at 230K, which is certainly a lot more manageable than Humphrey. That 50K is huge. 50K is a lot of money, especially at this point of the year. And you look at Carlton's run, and look at Gold Coast's run. Got the Dogs, the Crows, Carlton, Hawthorn, Collingwood. But, Humphrey's got that bye. And that's part of the reason why he's such a juicy prospect. So, look, I'm probably going to just decide, you know what, stuff this. Samson Ryan, you've done a terrific job for me, son. You're an absolute superstar. And so he's going to go out. And then the question becomes, do I trade out Oliver or do I trade out a guy like Simpson, who I just am not a big fan of? Even the week before, his 60 odd points, a lot of them come in 1/4 bursts. At which point, he's had one good game and the rest 50s and 60s, and a lot of the scoring is coming from one good quarter where things just happen to go his way. So it's not very consistent. It's really nerve-wracking. He's only made me 84.5K, but he was subbed out, and I worry about what is going to happen for him moving forward. Maybe because of all the injuries, he manages to keep his spot in the team. Only time will tell, I suppose. But I know Samson Ryan's going to go out for me. I think Samson Ryan, he's made his money. He's been terrific. Can swing Madden back in there. And maybe I can even swing Simpson perhaps here if I decide to hold on to Oliver, who we know is going to be out this week. And instead of Oliver, we can go with Humphrey, who has shown that he's capable of pumping out some big scores now in back-to-back weeks. And maybe I'm being harsh on the kid because he can score a -3, but he scored 64 against Melbourne, very respectable. And then he beat up on West Coast, and everyone is beating up on West Coast. Whoever's playing against West Coast, trade them in. And so you're seeing a lot of people who missed out on merit last week are trading him in this week. And then he scored 101 against Brisbane, and that is really good. In order to, and he kicked one goal, so it's not like he kicked multiple goals in order to really bolster up that score. 17 touches, 4 marks, and no tackles. You know what I mean? No tackles. So there is definitely upside. There is upside, and Brisbane are no easy beats either. I'm expecting a low score from him this week, bang up against the Bulldogs, but he's capable of making a lot of money very quickly, and he can be that Oliver cover for now while I hold on to him, because when he comes back, he's going to repay the faith. I know a lot of people are probably trading Oliver out. Yeah, there you go. That's what Supercoach Gold can give you. Around 20% of teams, over 20,000 people have traded Clayton Oliver out, because that's a lot of money that's going to be sitting around doing nothing. Trading him out can open up a lot of space for you in your team. And with that 74K, it could even be a Simpson. And then I can get, or maybe even just actually. Well, Rosie can go there, and now this decision, now it's gone messed up. It didn't like that. I don't know why it doesn't like that. Let's try that again. And then we can send a Rosie there, for example, or one of these dudes, and we can get a Whittle. That works, and it frees us roughly 95K. Now, we've also really increased our cash gen, whilst also giving us an extra player that can play in that juicy buy with the Gold Coast, with Bailey Humphrey. So let's just complete that for now. And let's have a look and let's see how that looks. Okay, so Constable on field. And then we can, oh no, you can't loop between these guys. All right, let's just put Constable back. And then we can loop between Whittle and Wilmot. Pick the better scorer, hopefully, give us a chance. It's just a free chance at it. Oscar Baker's probably going to give us between 58 and 61 again. Like, let's have a look at Baker's scoring. Seriously, like, honestly, this guy, 55, 90. That was just that was, I knew that was going to be a one-time thing. 50, 50s, 59, 69, 50, 58, 61. Like, it's sort of going to give us that sort of output all the time. He's made us 168K. He's been good for us, Oscar. He's been decent for us. So Oscar can cover for Oliver, or maybe, yeah, we're running out of DPP swings. Big time here. There you go. And you never know if Drury gets dropped or not. When does Drury play? Very late in the piece. And then we can loop as well between Mitchell and Chandler. So I could do that. That is a possibility in terms of shoring up that cash gen. Or at the same time, we can bank on the fact that we've got some really good cash gen coming next week with Eddie Ford, with Wardlaw. So there are definitely options to come, which means that I don't have to worry about them. I don't have to worry about getting in Humphrey and Weddle. I can wait, and I can instead trade out Oliver in order to increase the number of premiums I have in my team. Okay, so let's have a look and see live wise. Okay, no, Ryan probably will be the one still to go. Now let's have a look. So we can send Rosie back where he belongs into the forward line. And we can see if we can try and we're 1,018,000. So we have some money for obviously a really cheap premium. So I'm pretty sure Steel is around that price. Steel is one of those really cheap ones. Yeah, 532K. So now the problem with that though is that it leaves us with 486K. Now there aren't really any people at 486K in the midfield that you can consider to be a real full-blown premium, right? Tom Sheed, oh my God. Remarkable. Set it go. What a shame. Mills, ridiculous. Just ridiculous. Callum Mills, what's happened to you, mate? Hopper still injured. Dusty, and I'm good, thanks. Wardlaw with his 85. You know, Wardlaw could be that guy to come in and cover. You know what I mean? Like, Wardlaw could be the cover for Oliver. If you're unable to get anyone really worthwhile to increase the number of premiums that we can get on the field. Heck, we can't even afford Darcy Cameron either. I'm pretty sure. Can we afford Darcy Cameron? Or has he gone up too much? And that was the problem with having his he's now at 495K, and that was the problem with Darcy Cameron having that 55 break even. It was really annoying. If he scored, just look at that, he only scored a 61, and now he's gone up. So yeah, that was really annoying. In terms of who I can afford here, again, in the forward line, Eddie Ford, number 1G. You know what I mean? So there is Dusty. He looks like he's got that gleam the gleam in his eye back, but probably not going to happen. So it's bizarre. You know what I mean? Like the sort of position that we sort of find ourselves in. And in the back line, there is Mason Redman, who could go big, and there is Bailey Dale, who did go big. And the thing with Bailey Dale is he wasn't doing hot shot until Jason Johannesson did his hammy. So Bailey Dale is one who is a victim of the players around him that are sort of limiting just how damaging he can be and the type of scoring that he can pump out for us. Now he's lost 114K. That is ridiculous. His break even is only 28. And we know, and he's certainly capable of pumping out some big scores, but he needs things to go his way. And we know Jason Johannesson's just done a hammy. It's not his first hammy, that's for sure. And when you look at his stats last year, he had a lot of really great scores until all of a sudden Ed Richards started to pop off and his scoring really trailed off. So he's one of those players where when others pop off, he's not going to pop off too. It's very likely he's not going to pop off. Mason Redman is a really interesting one at 471K. His break-even's only 33. I can see him going really big this week. I really can. But he's certainly capable of some really bad scores as well. 76, 51, 89, 72, 49. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to spend that much money on someone that's really speculative unless something has changed. And what's changed at Essendon has been forced changes in our backline because Kelly went down, Laverty went down. But we had a rise in Kane Baldwin, who's been terrific. And personally, I want Kane Baldwin to stay in that side. And as long as Kane Baldwin is still in that side and really freeing up, acting as that great support to BZT, the person who's really going to benefit most is Jordan Ridley. He's the one that's going to benefit the most in having, if Kane Baldwin can keep his spot in the side with his massive frame, he's very strong. They got to send someone really good, because he really bullied Mansell when they were matched up on each other. It was a really tough matchup. Took a few intercept marks, and he just helps free up Jordan Ridley to take some intercepts. And we saw what he did on the weekend. He did really well. He scored a 122. So, is it possible that we can take a gamble on trading Jordan Ridley back at 414k intercept marker? Let's have a look at DFS Australia. Actually, how many of the kick-ins did he take that week? Let's see. We'll go to. This is live. I haven't scripted this, guys, as you can probably tell. This is live speculation into my thought process for this week. As you can see, I'm not 100%. Like Ridley only had one kick in, and he didn't even play on from it. He had one kick in, didn't even play on from it. So, wow, you know what I mean? Like, for him to still score that big without kick-ins, who was taking those kick-ins? Actually, let's have a look again. 3 went to Mason Redmond, 3 went to Hind, 2 went to McGrath, and only 1 went to Ridley. Interesting. Very interesting. Let's have a look at his statistics from that game. On the 1 kick-in, 14 marks. That is not going to happen every week. 32 disposals. Gee, that must be a career high for him. At 78% efficiency. Yeah, that's not replicable. Jay, look at that. That is a halfback. That's a halfback. So look, I probably wouldn't go Ridley either. But he's probably going to have a field day against West Coast, that's for sure. But it's all about thinking big picture. So, yeah, we're in a situation where we're really unsure what we can do in relation with our team. Sorry, not Butters. But there is a guy who's affordable at that price point. Ollie Wines breaking a 51. He's up against Richmond. What happened there? I did not mean to do that. Breaking 51. I mean, look at his 3-round average, 97. 5-round average, 89. So he's slowly building. He's building into the career. He had a couple, poor score, 70, 89, 93, 110. So he's slowly getting more points up. A lot more handballs than kicks. But let's have a look at the centre bounces for Port Adelaide. Okay. Ollie Wines, 58%. So he's not really getting that many CBAs either. His number of CBAs are really fluctuating, which is really interesting. Rosie consistently in the green. Horn Francis had lower. Wines had lower. Butters still also getting some consistent CBAs. It's really weird, Port Adelaide. It's a really weird mix. He's capable of scoring decently well. Let's have a look at last year, how he went. I mean, he's certainly capable of big streak, hot streak, as well as cold streak. So, and then this is like sort of in between. 90, 120, 90s, 120, 60s, 120, 120, 140, 140. Like, it's bizarre. So, but more often than not, he's certainly capable of scoring really well, and he's dropped 137k. He might even be one to come in as well. So it could be trading out Oliver and Ryan and getting in Wines, who could be an M9, and Steele, who looks really good, who looked really good on the weekend. And that's just because of the weird, awkward price point that I find myself in this point. So look, as you can see, I'm sort of a bit all over the shop right now. I'm still trying to come to grips with what I want to do. Maybe it might even just be these guys, and it might even just be a Weddle who's not out of price. It's still very fair. It could just be doing sidewaysing out the injured premium, and then looping between these two guys, for example, as to who's going to come on. I free up a lot of money in the bank for next week, or it could just simply be an Oliver to Sicily, because Sicily's got the lower break even compared to Sinclair. So it could just be Oliver to Sicily, free up a lot of money, and then again, Samson Ryan and free up a lot of money by doing this. Could even get a Weddle as well. Or I could go early on someone, but yeah, there are a number of options available. As you can see, I still haven't committed to one. I'm still unsure what I'm going to do. So I know this has been a long video, but it's sort of trying to show you there's a lot of options available. I'm still not sold if I have to trade him or not, especially given that his hamstring clearly doesn't seem to be too big of an issue. But if the decision, if I decide that, what, it might be too good to refuse to go from an Oliver to a Sicily and free up 100K, I will definitely let you guys know. We are going to be doing a DPP video, releasing it out tomorrow for you guys, so that we can tell you what the statistics are in relation to any sort of plans that you might be having in order to bring players in. Still going to have the Thursday night live stream reacting to the team sheets as they come out, answering you guys' questions. And I might actually make my mind in terms of what I'm going to be doing based on those team sheets as well. So, guys, thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate you coming over here and, listening to my ramblings. And if you have any questions, please let me know in the comments down below, and I'll try my best to answer them. Of course, a lot of it is crystal ball stuff. And it's really easy to get something wrong, very easy to miss something, and it could end up being catastrophic. You just got to ride the highs and the lows in this really long season. And remember, guys, here at the Center Bounce, we do the hard work so that you don't have to. Bye for now.